Hello, welcome to The Wandering Drew. I am Drew. On today's episode, I'd like to do a breakdown of the gear that I'm going to be taking on my next trip. And that trip will be a 63-mile trip or so along the Florida Trail in the Ocala National Forest. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch these videos. I'm taking a trip in the middle of November of 2020 along the portion of the Florida Trail that goes through the Ocala National Forest. Many people have described this as the best portion of the Florida Trail, or at least one of the best portions. And I decided to do that. It's about a 64 mile hike. I'm going to do it over 4 to 5 days in November. So I have made a couple of gear changes, and I just thought it would be it's a easy video for me to do while I was gathering all my gear and packing it and unpacking and deciding on what I was going to take to go through the gear that I'm going to be taking and just do a quick video on that. I did have everything packed up, but I took everything out to weigh it because I am going to put a list of all the gear that I'm taking along with their weights. I'm contemplating also putting a link to a website that will have those items instead, rather than typing them all in the description. So more than likely, I'll probably do that. So anyway, I figured it would be a good idea since I had all my gear out, since I was getting it all ready and making sure that it was all good for the trip and making some decisions on what I was going to take, if I just did a quick video on my pack and the gear that I'll be taking with me. So here it is. The first thing that I want to get out of the way is, because of the large bear population in the Ocala National Forest, it's recommended that you use some sort of bear canister. And I am going to be taking, since I happen to already have one from doing the Arlobe Trail last year, the Bear Vault. I think this is the BV 500. There's two different sizes. The problem with the first one was it was actually too small, and it would not stay on the top of the pack. It would fall off. So I upgraded to the larger one. As you can see, it's quite big. It takes up, rests on the top of the pack. The only thing I don't like when I use it on the pack is that it restricts your head from going all the way back because it's right up against your head, depending on how full your pack is, of course. And this is the Bear Vault 500 that I'll be taking. They advertise it doubles as a camp stool. You can actually sit on it when the lid is closed. I won't be doing that probably, but you never know. It's already loaded with my food that I'm going to be taking, and it's quite heavy. The Bear Vault itself, without any food in it, weighs 2.6 pounds. Basically 2 pounds, 10 ounces. So it's quite heavy. With my food in it, as I packed it the other day, and I may cut down on my food a little bit because I really think I'm carrying too much. It's 3,779 grams, or 8 pounds and 5.3 ounces. So the food itself, take out the 2 pounds or almost 2.5 pounds for the vault itself, I have about 5.9 pounds of food, which is heavy for me. So I'll be using all pre-made, pre-packaged food that comes in a pack, and I just rehydrate it. So similar to like Mountain House type stuff. So I have 4 different meals for dinner that I'm taking with me, and I'm planning on eating those each night, so that I will not be using any basically food from my home or that I've packaged to go on the trail. And that's because I have a lot of stuff that I've acquired over the last couple of months to test or to try out, and I haven't been going on the trail and I haven't been trying them out, and they're just taking up space. So I figured, rather than continue to keep buying more and more stuff, let's actually use it. So it tends to be a little heavier than if I put food in a Ziploc bag and I was cooking it, because of the heavy bag that it comes in, and everyth's in it, so it's self-contained. So with those 4 packages in there, they take up a lot of room, but they're also much heavier than food I would normally take backpacking. So this is by far the heaviest item that I'm taking, probably equal to the amount of water I'll be carrying, probably even heavier. So that's the problem with taking a bare vault. If, you know, without this bare vault, I could be 2 to 3 pounds lighter, which would be very welcome if you were going up some large hills or mountains. So that's the big item. After the bare canister, I'm going to discuss my backpack. And the backpack is the same one that I've been using for the last several trips that I've taken, and it is the Z-Packs Arc Blast backpack. The only modification from a stock backpack, if you will, is the addition of the 2 shoulder strap pouches, and I wear also the 2 hip belt pouches, and I put extra stuff in there. So other than that, it's exactly as it came, and it's still working for me, and I enjoy wearing this pack. Haven't had any problems with it yet. Put that on the side. I also use a Z-Packs pack liner to line the pack rather than a trash compactor bag or a trash bag. Not a big deal. You can save money if you want to and just buy a trash compactor bag, and it'll work just as fine for you. Rounding out some of the more heavier items is my Z-Packs duplex tent, which I'm still using, still enjoy, and works for me. Along with this, because it does not come with any poles, although I did buy them, I have my 2 trekking poles, which I use along with the tent in order to set it up. And these are 2, they're Cascade Mountain Tech graphite. They're graphite poles. They're lightweight, and I've kind of gotten used to walking with them now. So I take them obviously for the tent and for use while hiking. And I guess I'll round out the big 3. So with the backpack, the tent, and now the sleeping bag. And my sleeping bag is an Enlightened Equipment 20-degree Conundrum. It's a custom made, so I picked the colors. It's blue and yellow. I believe you've probably seen it in some of my other videos. And I'll be taking this again with me, most likely. If the temperatures are predicted to be really warm, I might go to the Sea and Summit Trek 1 bag, but more than likely I'll just take this one anyway because of the weight, and I still want to get used to carrying those items. So, because the Sea to Summit is a little bit made for warmer weather. This is made for colder weather, but I can still use it, and I probably will end up just taking this anyway, just out of habit. So that rounds out the big 3. The other items I'm going to be taking, continuing with the sleep system, will be my new Xped sleeping pad. It is a winter sleeping pad, and it's in the medium wide. I have not yet used it or even set it up. I just got it a couple of days ago, and I took it out of the box, and I looked at it to make sure it was good, and I weighed it, but other than that, I have not even set it up yet. So I'll be doing that and probably filming a video on that. So just another one of the pieces of equipment I upgraded in getting ready for the winter, or more winter-like weather when I do the Hoodie in hopefully January of 2021. So that's it. So it's the Xped Cinmat HL Winter Medium Wide, and that's it. So that takes care of the more or less the sleep system. The only other item I have in my sleep system, which is really not much of a sleep system item, but it goes along with it. I take a Sea to Summit Aerios pillow. It's an inflatable pillow. I like this. I've discovered over the last couple of trips in using a pillow that it does help out a little bit. It's better than using a stuffed sack filled with my dirty clothes. It's definitely softer, it smells nicer, and it helps me get a better night's sleep. So therefore, it's worth it to take it. It doesn't weigh very much, a couple of ounces, and I think that I'll continue to use it because it does help me get a better night's sleep. And it's not that big, so that's that. Other items that I'll be taking, I guess I'll go into some clothes now. I have my buff beanie. Don't think I'll really need this, but if it does get a little cooler or to protect my head, maybe some of the open sections, I might put this on even though it's hot, but it protects me from a sunburn. I probably won't be bringing a big hat like I usually do. I'll probably just take this. Also, that's a buff beanie. This is a buff. It's an actual buff. And I take this on all my hikes. I've been using this thing for probably about 3, maybe 4 years now. So I will continue to use it and take with me. And I'm actually, now that a lot of times you go places and, you know, some hiking equipment has come in handy with the COVID thing because I wear this a lot as a mask, just to have something on me if I'm going outside or comply with the law when I was required to wear one to go in certain stores. Since it is so thin and it's breathable, but it is still a face covering, and most places will take this as well. So I've been wearing this a lot lately and hope to continue it. I know eventually it'll wear out and I'll have to replace it, but I'm hoping to get many more years of use out of it. Other clothes I'll be taking will be my, these are Black Diamond pants. I've been wearing pants lately because I like to protect my legs from, you know, getting scratched up, also from any abrasions that happen on the trail, sunburn, as well as hoping to avoid getting some ticks on me. So the material helps protect your legs and it makes it easier to spot them when you're doing a little check on yourself. So that's that. I will be bringing my fleece. I absolutely love this fleece. I bought this on clearance at REI. They were having a sale. You know, they have sales pretty often, like twice a year or something. They have the garage sales, and I happened to walk in and this thing was on sale one day, and I tried it on. It fit, and I've been more or less using it ever since. I probably find this to be one of the most useful pieces of my equipment in terms of like a jacket, because it's not too hot and it's not too cold. So if it's a little chilly in the morning, I just throw this on, you know, and you don't need a big winter jacket or a puffy. But if it gets really cold when you stop for the night, this won't do it. So you need something more. But this has been a very versatile piece of equipment. And because it's fleece, you know, if it gets a little wet, it's not a big deal. It still keeps you warm. So it's a good piece of equipment to have. I did just buy the Montbell Superior Parka. I probably will not be bringing this on this trip, only because I'm not expecting it to be that cold. Whatever I get, I believe the fleece will be able to handle. And this is just going to take up space and weight. So in order to save the weight and the space, I'll probably just leave this home. But you never know. I may just put it in the kit to get used to carrying the weight. Additional things I'll be bringing is obviously my underwear. It's ex officio underwear. I'll be wearing that. I have my Oceans to Lake Trail shirt. It's what I'll be hiking in. It's bright orange. It's long sleeve, so I'm protected from, you know, bugs. Once again, abrasions or scrapes. The sun, very importantly, and it is hiking season. I mean, of course it's hiking season. I'm going. It's hunting season, so the bright orange will help me stay visible if I'm walking through making noise. As they hear me huffing and puffing down the trail, they'll realize it's not a deer. Don't shoot. For the same reason, I'm also taking an orange bandana, which I'm going to put over the top of my pack. I've done this once or twice before during hunting season. Usually it's I actually had a stuff sack that I used to hang over, so I bought some cotton bandanas. They feel okay. They're kind of stiff. They're brand new. I just bought them. I got like, I don't know, a dozen for like $10 on Amazon. So I'm going to take one of these and I will drape it over the back of my pack on the top to increase my visibility to any hunters that may be out there. I'll probably continue to bring another bandana, but I may not. This is another cotton bandana that I got from REI when I took class with them. And I've grown kind of attached to it. I like carrying it. I like having it. It's cotton, so it feels better on the skin than dry fit material. So if I get dirty, I want to wipe my hands. I want to wipe down my tent or the rain fly in the morning. If I get a little water or something on it, I'll generally use this. Wipe my face when I sweat. If I need to blow my nose, I mean, I use it for everything and anything, but especially wiping my hands if I'm going to cook or clean or if I wash them. this comes in handy. So it's always good to have a bandana of some sort, whether you want to or not. It always, a little rag of some sort is always something that you can use to clean, dry, or wipe something. Other things that I'll be taking at nighttime, I generally like to change out of my clothes, let them air out, let me air out, and I'll be using these Patagonia long pants. This can also be, if it gets cold weather, you can wear these as a base layer as well. They're not that warm, but they're warmer than nothing. So if I need to, I can wear that. And at night, I generally wear this also Patagonia long sleeve shirt. So that's usually my night gear, along with a pair of socks to wear at night. Those are darn tough socks. I'll have two darn tough pairs of socks to hike in. They're a little bit thicker than that. One will be a backup, one I'll hike in. It's only a 5-day trip at most, so I probably can go with one pair, but I usually like to switch them out every day. It gives them a chance to air out. If I wash one, if I happen to find water and I decide to wash one, I can hang them on my backpack or overnight, let them dry out while the other pair is being worn. So that's the only reason why. I may decide to leave one of these behind just to save a little bit of weight. They're really not that heavy. I am also going to bring a towel because I know I'll be staying in some campgrounds for at least 2 days in our springs there that you can bathe in, and just if I want to dry off. This is kind of like a dry fit material, so it's not like a really absorbent towel. I have another one somewhere else, but I found this one first, so I'll probably just bring this one with me. And once again, I'll use that if I take a shower or something. I'm going to bring my, I'm sorry. This is the, skipping this. This is my Echo hoodie. So it's like a hiking shirt. I can hike in this, but it does have a hoodie. If it gets a little cooler, I'll probably wear this. If it gets really cold, or much colder at night, I'll probably go to the Fleece. But supposedly this is enough to keep you warm and just take a little chill out of the morning. I've only worn it on a practice hike once or twice. I wasn't very impressed. Unfortunately, the first time I wore it, it got a little snag on a branch, and it actually has a tear in it now. So not very durable, but it is extremely lightweight and thin. So I think it'll be good for, hot weather if I want to. You can see there's a little tear here. It's got like a pull where it got torn. So I think it'll come in good for hot weather because it is so lightweight and it does wick the moisture away and evaporates. The other thing I'll be bringing is my Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jacket, which I have folded up into its pocket, which becomes like a little pouch for it. And this I'll keep usually in my pack, readily accessible for when it starts raining. But if the weather's warm, usually when it rains, I just get wet. If it's a really big downpour, I usually put the rain jacket on. That's that. With that, I'll be bringing my Katadyn Be-Free water filter. I don't know if I'll really get a chance much to use it. There is water available when I pass through the campgrounds and one or two other places, but other than that, I'll have to filter my water. So depending on which day it is, this will get some use or not. But always want to have this with you. You never know when you're going to need it. It's worth it to carry it. Some of the other items I'll be taking is my MSR Pocket Rocket 2 Deluxe stove. I already have a fuel canister in here, and I'll use this basically on this trip because I'll be making prefab meals. I'll probably just be boiling water in it. So I really don't need much more than that. I could have gone with something a little lighter or done without it, but I just carry the whole kit and it already has the fuel canister in it. So that'll be another item that I'll be taking. Like my Black Diamond, I think this is a Storm. I know they've changed the model since I bought this one. It's still called the Storm, but it's a newer version and it has a little different features and whatever. But I like this light because it is dimmable, but yet it throws out a great amount of light for a far distance. So if you're doing a little bit of night hiking, it's great to night hike with. I have used it to night hike and I can see what I'm doing. And then if you want to dim it to do something a little closer without, blinding yourself, you need some task lighting or something, this works just as well. And it does have the red light so you don't, ruin your night vision at night. But I just am happy with the light. There's no reason to change it. I know there's USB ones now, there's heavier ones, there's lighter ones, there's rechargeable ones. but you know, I have the equipment, it already works. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Some other items I'm going to be taking. This is just the little ditty bag I have, as a lot of people call it. Just basically has a pen, toothbrush, toothpaste, and some soap, and some lip balm, just in case I need it. I generally don't, but if it's really windy and hot or dry, if I happen to come to an open windy area, sometimes your lips get a little chapped, I'll be using that. My Sea to Summit spork, I guess, I'll be using that. I'll be carrying a package of Wandering Drew stickers for anyone I meet that asks for one. Not that I'm expecting anyone to know who I am, but I don't want to be unprepared. My Garmin Inreach Explorer Plus. This is the full-size one. This is an older version. They do have the mini now. And I saw Garmin just came out with another GPS. I know they came in with, I think, the antenna, which has the Inreach technology, and their other GPS that just came out, I'm thinking for some reason the 66i or something like that, also has the Inreach. I cannot speak enough about how much I love this device. I think it is well worth it. Every once in a while I read a story about someone that had to use their Inreach to get them help. I've used it twice, not to do an emergency, but to just arrange for a pickup when I had to get off the trail. Unplanned, and there was no cell service in the area. So it's come in handy for me. And I read just yesterday, actually, a story of a person that had to get rescued off a mountain a month and a half ago in a blizzard, unexpected, and had to use their Garmin Inreach. They had a mini, and they had just purchased it like about 3 months before. So you talk about money well spent. If it saves your life, how much can you put a price on that? Anyway, I find it useful to have. I like the idea that my family can check on where I'm at, that I can send them a message every day or throughout the day that lets them know I'm doing okay and gives them my location. So it gives me peace of mind and them peace of mind. So I think it's well worth it. Other things that I'll be taking is for camera gear, I'm going to use my phone. I just bought a new case and I had to replace the screen, which cracked. It's pretty expensive, but I just bought a new case for it, and I'm hoping this one lives up to the rigors of the trail and doesn't break on me. So I'll be using my Samsung S20 Ultra phone, and I'm going to use this as my camera as well. So I'm going to avoid carrying a full-size camera, or I do have a mirrorless, 3/4 mirrorless camera that I've been taking pictures with. I really like that. I'm filming on it right now. It's the Lumix camera. I actually like that camera. I do think there is a difference in quality when you use a camera as opposed to the phone. Phones are great. They're so much better than they used to be. They take awesome pictures, but most of the time, the DSLR will still outperform it, and you do have a lot more flexibility and customization that you can do with the photos and with the settings. But cell phones are getting pretty close to it. I have a program in here that allows me to do a lot of the settings, change the white balance and all the stuff you can do with the DSLR. So it won't be long now that they'll be just as functional, I think. I'm gonna take a little tripod. This is a Kodak tripod. Do like it. It's pretty lightweight. It does extend. It's not a full tripod, but for the weight I'm carrying and what I'm doing, this works out good. So if I want to put this down on the trail or set it up on a table or even on the floor and video myself, I find that this works very good. It keeps it stable, better than holding it. And even when I hike and I want to sometimes do, because DSLRs are so heavy, that I wasn't able to really put it on the end of a stick and hold it and look at me. So I found this actually worked because it gave me a full grip on it and it could hold it. Going back to the cell phone though, it's much lighter and it's easier to put on like a selfie stick and record yourself. So I will be using this some of the time to record myself, and I cannot tell you how many items I've purchased on Amazon related to the channel and filming and camera gear, between microphones, dongles, and especially I've been looking more and more to find some sort of device that I could use to hold my camera or my phone on a trekking pole. And there's a lot of products out there, but I'm not impressed with most of them. So I'm going back to some new and some old technology. I bought this this mount. I like it because it holds a cell phone that's wide in a case. One of the problems I had with my old cell phone, my old mount I was using, is it will not hold or support the cell phone while it's in its case. When it's in the case, it's too thick and too big. So you have to take it out of the case every time you want to film with it. Well, that's a problem. One, taking it in and out of the case is annoying. And two, what happens if you trip and fall or you drop it? Well, that's exactly what happens. Usually you end up dropping it and you can break it. So this is wide enough that it can hold my cell phone in its case now. And it positively secures it with a screw, not just springs. It screws tight on it. And I can orient it so I can take a picture of myself while I'm hiking. And in order to get it onto my trekking pole, which I'm hoping it will stay and it's not too heavy, I will use my old stick pick, which I already had. So in essence, I'm using the old technology of the stick pick with this item. And this is self-reliant. If it needs to be, I can use it alone without the stick pick if I'm setting it up somewhere. But if I'm going to use it and carry it on a device, it needs to screw into something, and it can be used also with the tripod. So it's dual functional. So if I want to use this on the tripod, I'll be able to do that as well. So this one device will go either on the trekking pole or on the tripod. So the versatility is there. Another reason why I'm using it. I'll just take my regular wallet. It's not that heavy. I'm not going to bring a hiker wallet like I normally would, a Ziploc bag. I'll be carrying 2 smart water bottles. I'll probably change them out with a sports cap. I save them usually. If I can find them, I buy them with a sports cap, just it's easy to drink with. And I like those better. So I'll have 2 liters of water with me to start with. And I always have more I can put in the Katadyn. It has a bag in it that fills up with another 2 liters of dirty water that I can just hold and store and then filter as I need. A lot of times I will use that at the end of the night. If I know I'm at water and then I'm going up to camp, which may be dry, or even at camp, I will fill up that 2-liter bag and use that for all my water to cook with and to clean with, brush my teeth, wash my hands, wipe off at night, so that I don't end up using any of my drinking water. So when I start in the morning, I have 2 full liters of water again, because I haven't touched them. And I also can finish drinking off that bag. I leave it hanging on a tree or on a somewhere, and I'll just drink that in the morning. So I start off fully hydrated as much as possible especially if I'm coming to a dry stretch. The last things I'm really going to have is this is my combination first aid bag. It has all my medicines in it. It has a little couple of spare items like a piece of rope, an extra lighter, and some cloth just in case. It also has some tenacious tape if I need to fix something, and the item that I'll probably be using the most, which is KT tape. I use it on my feet pretty much every day. If the tape is able to last more than 1 day, which it frequently is, I'll use it for 2 days. But a lot of times I change the tape every night because I want my feet to air out at night, and it's been very effective, at least for me, with no blisters. I'm not sure exactly what shoes I'm taking. I bought a new pair of Ultras and I sent them back, and I've ordered a second pair to try and hike in. I've frequently used Solomons in the past, and the pair of Solomons I just purchased also didn't feel very comfortable. They were pinching my feet on the top, which I've never had a problem with before, so they were too narrow, even though I tried loosening up the laces a little bit. So I sent them back, and I'm going to try a different pair of Solomons and a different pair of Ultras. If not, I'll go back to my other Ultras that I already have, which is the Lone Peak. I think they're they're Timps. They're 1.5. I tried different ones and I didn't like them, but I have another pair en route, and we'll see which one I end up taking. The last two or three items I have, this is my potty bag. You've seen it in the videos, in the Call of Duty. So it has a roll of toilet paper, it has some hand sanitizer, it's got my my deuces. Is it Ace of Deuces? Is that what they call it? I forget now. So the number two, the Deuce. That's it, the Tent Lab Deuce. The Deuce number 2 trowel. So everything I basically need to go potty if I want to, I can just drop my pack and walk off in the woods with just this, do my business and come back. And it also has some little soap, pocket soap in there that I can just add water and make soap. And the last two items are all basically electronic driven. I'm carrying a bunch of cords, miscellaneous cords. I'm gonna have a set of headphones. I'm trying out a remote control for my phone, hoping to save a little bit of battery and recording time because I can remotely record or take a picture. Just since I'm gonna be going solo, if I wanna take some selfies, I can do that. And I'll also have a cable here to charge the Garmin. The Garmin generally lasts 3 days. I probably I might try to go the whole hike without charging it. So the battery lasts really good. I mean, you're consider using it. I do shut it off at night a lot to conserve battery power, but I basically turn it on in the morning and I shut it off at night when I send out a message, hey, I'm going to bed or I'm setting up camp, and that's when I turn it off. So you figure it's on anywhere from 12 hours a day to 16 hours a day probably, and it generally lasts 3 to 4 days. I usually don't wait that long. I've always charged it after 3 days, but I may try it on this trip to see if it'll go all 4 days without dying. I'm sure I'll be down in the low teens by the end of the 4th day, but it's good to experiment with since I'll be reaching my car. I also have a Garmin watch. This is an Instinct watch, I believe it's called, and it also needs to be charged. It's USB. It works really good. It's the first watch I've had that I can hike with all day and still has power, but it generally can't do more than 1 day with the tracking going on, the GPS tracking. So it has to be charged more or less every night. So I'll have the cable for that as well. Because it is a 4 or 5 day trip, I'm not planning on recharging, or I'm not going to bring a charging plug or anything like that, which saves me some weight. You know, a lot of people will carry their charger, the charging block, the plug that goes in the wall. If you're only going out for an overnight or something, you're not going to charge it. You don't need that. Save the weight and leave it home. Leave it in the car. Okay, what I am bringing though is pretty heavy. This is my battery bank. It's a brick, literally and figuratively. It's an Anker power core. It's 26,800 milliamps. So the idea being that because sometimes I bring this, I bought this really because I was using my camera last time and I have to charge the batteries up for that. So I worked out, this can charge my cell phone approximately, I think, 6 times from 0%, which it's never going to be. Usually it's like 30, 40 at the end of the day if I've been using it. Since I use my phone also for navigation, obviously I'll be texting, I'll be making phone calls, I may be recording with it, I may be doing video editing with it. I want to have enough power. So this is probably more than enough, but I figure for the 4 to 5 days I'm out there, this will be the only power I need. So this will charge my watch every day, my phone up every day, as well as the Garmin Inreach Explorer if I need to. But like I said, I'm going to try to go the whole time without using it. So that's it. So that's a list of all my gear. I don't think I missed anything. Hopefully I didn't forget. Oh, and this is the knife I'll be bringing. It's a Gerber mini knife. There you go. All I needed to do is open up packages and maybe cut some sausage or some cheese. Yes, I said cut the cheese. I know my son will be laughing. And that's all I nearly needed for. So this is all I generally bring. It's very lightweight. And altogether, I weighed myself. I had everything in the pack and I took it out to weigh individually. So my base weight, so that's no food, no water, not including the clothes I'll be wearing or my trekking poles. The only thing that was included in that weight was actually the can of fuel, because I already have that in my stove, which the can of fuel weighs 122 grams. The one that's in there now, I just weighed it. So, but my base weight is 15.1 pounds. So even if I want to take out that fuel canister, I'm probably down to the upper 14s, 14.8, 14.9 pounds. Trail weight, in other words, everything as it is, ready to go, walking out the door, with everything except for water, is 23.6 pounds. So, and the heaviest thing by far is that bear vault, at 8 pounds. So if you add the 8 pounds to the 15 pounds, that's where you get the 23. And that's what's weighing so much. So I'll be very glad when I stop for the first day and start eating some food, because my pack will get lighter. And over the 8 days, and my food will probably change. I might take some out because it is kind of heavy. I think I'm bringing more food than I'll probably eat. I just packed in enough for 4 days, but there might be a possibility of getting one meal at a restaurant along the trail at one of the campgrounds. So I might go lighter by a little bit on that because I could see myself getting something to eat there. Other than that, that's more or less what I'll be carrying. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch these videos. I appreciate your support. I like the comments and the emails that I get. If you like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing to the channel. Click on the subscribe button below. If you enjoyed it and you got some value out of it, just give me a like, click the thumbs up button, show some love that you appreciate it and you like these videos. And as always, leave a comment below, maybe something I've forgotten, a question you have, a good comment or a bad comment. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Please take care of yourself. Till we meet again. After the beer canister, beer.